Hello, lovely humans. Welcome back to the vlog. Before I show you this week's TBR, I did finish Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed my time reading it. I loved the romance dynamic. The setup kind of reminded me of The Bridge Kingdom, which I have read and decided not to continue on in that series. But if you liked The Bridge Kingdom, I think you would love Shield of Sparrows. The monsters in this were really cool. I like how there's still a lot of mystery and secrets to uncover. I'm just really excited for the next book in the series. If you're curious about any more thoughts that I had, it's in my last vlog. Okay, this week's TBR, there's kind of a theme. The first one is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. I'm sure you've seen this everywhere. This is like a dark academia trip to hell. And then I have Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. This takes place at an academy that I believe is like on the threshold of the afterlife, which sounds like such an intriguing premise. I'm really excited to read this one. Okay, so I read 170 pages of Immortal Consequences, and now that I have a better understanding of what exactly is happening, I thought I would share it with you. This takes place at Blackwood Academy, which is located in like a type of purgatory between life and the afterlife. A majority of the students will go on to be reapers, and then once that happens, they will no longer have the memories from their human life. And the only way to avoid that fate is to be chosen for this like annual test / like celebration that the academy holds, where one student, if they succeed, can either choose to cross over into the afterlife, but nobody really knows what that means or what happens, or they can choose to remain at Blackwood Academy and become like a permanent resident / employee, and then they'll be able to like keep all of their memories. There's also a shadow demon cult that sometimes students run off to, and so I'm really hoping we get to explore that through one of the characters. This year at the Academy, instead of testing a single student, they've decided to hold a competition of 12 students, and from those competitors is where we get our 6 perspectives, which honestly at first did kind of seem like a lot. Right now, some of the characters do feel distinct, but there's still a few where, I don't know, they just don't feel like unique or special in any way, but there still is time for them to be fleshed out, so I'm hopeful. Something that's been really fun so far is there is a lot of magic in this book, which I love. And I really like that each of our characters specializes in like a different type of magic. And it's just really cool to see how they use that in their daily life, but also use it like in the trials for the competition. All right, so I finished Immortal Consequences, and I had a pretty good time reading this. It's pretty fast-paced for a 500-page book. There's a lot of action, and it's just completely filled with magic. I gave this 3.75 stars. It was so close to being a 4-star, and like, there's still a chance that like over the next couple weeks, like I'll think about it and this book will grow on me. But for right now, I just don't think I was as like emotionally invested as I needed to be for the book to really hit like how it was intended to. There are some really well-written emotional scenes where I would have just like sobbed, but I just needed more time with the characters before these big things happened. Like I needed more time to like develop a care for them. I think 6 perspectives might have been just a little excessive for a first book. But then again, like other readers might be able to like connect to characters more quickly than I. So it's really just like a preference thing, I think. In reading the acknowledgements, I found out that this is actually Ivy Marie's debut novel, which is like insanely impressive to me. Like, if I really think about it, other than the number of perspectives, there's not really anything that stands out to me as something that I would like change or have critiques on. It's really so well done. Like the pacing and the plot points, and I like even the dialogue. I really enjoyed that the characters talk like real people talk. Now that I'm thinking about it and like talking about it, maybe I should bump it up to a 4-star. I don't know how many books are going to be in this series, but I can imagine that if I choose to continue on in this series, that going back and rereading the first book after having like so much more time with these characters, I feel like the first book would be amazing. I don't know. We'll see if this is really a 4-star the next time I go to the bookstore, because for me, like a 4-star rating, kind of like the requirement for it is that I thought it was so great that I'd be willing to spend my own money on it. So if I go to the bookstore next week and I buy it, that means it's a 4-star read for me. So yeah, I would definitely encourage you to pick this book up if anything at all has sound intriguing. And also, Ivy Marie is definitely an author to keep an eye on. Okay, on to Katabasis or Katabasis, whichever you prefer. I have seen some pretty critical reviews of this book, which I usually try to avoid because I never want someone else's like opinions or thoughts to like affect my own experience reading a book. But I loved Babel, like immensely. So I have a lot of faith in R.F. Kuang in this dark academia genre. I'm recording this on my phone, so hopefully the audio is decent. But I was too lazy to get up my camera because this is the end of the vlog because I am DNFing Katabasis. I read about 50 pages. I was super drawn in by the premise. Like, who wouldn't be? But then once you start reading a book, I feel like something in the writing or the story needs to like convince you to continue on reading. And there's just nothing for me in this book. The prose isn't for me. I don't really care for the characters. The setting is kind of blah. Like, there's not really an atmosphere. There was also a couple small things that left me a little, I want to say befuddled, but I don't know if that's quite the word. Maybe a little dumbfounded, like I'm not quite sure how I feel about them. Apparently, men's voices are better suited for casting spells. And there's also a porn metaphor in this that felt really out of place and a little jarring. And I just, these decisions are not for me. And none of this is necessarily to dissuade you from picking up this book, because I DNF a lot for like a multitude of reasons. I didn't expect this to be similar to Babel, but I really didn't expect the book to be what it is. If you're still watching this, thank you so much. I hope to see you in the next vlog.